Our next guest has quite the story to tell, having been a DJ for about 2 decades and sharing the stage with the music industry's best, including Miley Cyrus, Kanye West, John Legend, Jennifer Hudson, and his current gig of spinning for the legendary Janet Jackson on her Unbreakable World Tour. DJ Aktive, welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show.
Hey, how you doing, Kelly? Thank you for having me. How's everything going?
Well, I'm great, and we're so happy to have you on the show. Been getting lots of requests to get you on, so I'm really happy you made time for us. And before we get to sort of what you've been doing with Janet, I did want to talk to you about your career. So how did you actually get into being a DJ?
Hey, okay. Well, I started in Philadelphia, man. My dad was DJ, and I used to look up to him, and I have a cousin. His name was DJ Ghetto, and he was a famous DJ back in the early '90s. So by me watching him, and then my dad used to DJ on the side, and at parties and shows and stuff like that, I wound up getting into DJ by watching those two. So they kind of the ones who inspired me, at a younger age. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into DJing. Yeah.
And when did you figure out that being a when could actually be a full-time career for you?
Well, I would say probably when I was in school at the moment. I was in college, and what was going on was I was doing radio, and while I was doing radio, I had a manager at this time, and I didn't think that. I was a teenager. I didn't think this was going to take off, and be a full-time job. I just thought I was doing it, just on the side or whatever, parties and school dances and stuff like that. But it actually took to a different level from me doing radio. I was heard on a station in Philadelphia. The station was Power 99. And they was like, hey, we like the way you're spinning up there. Would you like to work with an artist? And the first artist I started working with, his name was Music Soul Child. And he's like, would you like to come on tour? And I was like, come on tour? What am I going to do with an R&B artist? Like, I couldn't understand what I would be doing DJing with an R&B artist. And they was like, yeah, we'd like you to come to a rehearsal, see if you could fit in and bring a hip-hop feel to the R&B world with an R&B artist. So I was like, hey, cool, I'll try it out. And I tried to audition, and then from there, it just continued with me working with different R&B and, rap artists from there.
That's amazing. And by the way, I love Music Soul Child. I still play Just Friends all the time. That's my jam. So I wanted to ask you as well, Aktive, how much of a part do you feel that your hometown of Philadelphia has played in your DJing career? Like, does it seep into sort of what you do?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, growing up listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, which is Will Smith. Also, it's a lot of people who came out of Philadelphia. You have Gamble and Huff. They produce a lot of songs for Michael Jackson. Did a lot of music with Teddy Pendergrass. Did a lot of music with, I can go down the list. It's a lot of people that they work with. They're known producers, but Philly has influenced me a lot, as far as to be a DJ.
Can you talk to us about what gig sort of really started opening doors for you? I know you talked about Music Soul Child, and then it's sort of the snowball kind of kept running. But was there like a specific gig or a specific artist you worked with when once you did that, things just started to really explode?
Yeah, I think it really kicked off once I started working, I would say, with Kanye. I did Kanye 2009, 10, all the way to the beginning part of 11. It's like once I started working with him, that kind of opened up a lot of doors. And how I got connected to him is the music director. His name is Adam Blackstone. He's the music director for Janet. He's the one who submitted me for Kanye. And it's like once that started, and then it's like I started getting like blessings of calls. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I never thought I would be first working for Kanye. Never thought I would be spinning for Jennifer Hudson, and all these Queen Latifah, like all these calls are coming in. So I'm like, wow, they really like, I guess, the way I'm working. So I never thought I would be spinning for Janet Jackson. So it's been a blessing, to be, actually spinning for these name artists.
Can you talk to us about what it was like to actually, meet Kanye for the first time and what it's like to work with him? Because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about how he is when he's working with his people. He's
great. I mean, I had an excellent time working with him. I know he's very he's very strict, you know, when it comes to his music. He wants everything to be on time, sound precise. It's a lot of rehearsals. So he was actually cool when I worked on him. I think he was great. I learned a lot from him, you know, to stay consistent and actually be on it. Like, you know, you really have to be on it. He hears everything because he's a producer first. So he hears everything. You cannot slip up with him. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
That's awesome. Joining us on the show is Janet Jackson's official tour DJ, DJ Aktive. You can check out and learn all about him on his website, djaktivemusic.net. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you got the chance to work with Janet Jackson? Did you actually have to audition, or did she sort of know about you because of your work with Kanye and the others?
Well, I guess she knew about me through through Adam, basically. But from what he told me, he was like, yeah, she Googled you, she checked you out, she checked your, I guess your website out and, you know, your YouTubes and stuff. So they asked me to come to LA to do an audition, but basically it was like a rehearsal audition. And, you know, from the blessings of God, I guess, you know, they liked the way I did things. She checked it out and they kept me on. Fantastic.
What was it like to meet Janet for the first time?
I was kind of nervous.
Everybody has said that, by the way. So
I'm like, that. This is Janet Jackson. Like, this is Michael Smith. This is Janet. Like, this is legendary Janet Jackson. So that was kind of, you know, it was exciting to meet her and be in her presence. She's a legend. She's an icon. You know, she's been in the game for decades. So it was definitely exciting to be in her presence and meet her. Like, whoa.
Now, I wanted to ask you, I was able to see the concert from the Unbreakable Tour in Toronto, and you know, you do an excellent job sort of, you know, hyping up the crowd before Janet actually takes the stage. And then, you know, what's really cool is you kind of become this member of the band. You're a member of the band. So what mindset are you in when you are her opening act? And then where do you have to flip the mind to get into being a band member? Like, is it two different things?
It absolutely is, because in the beginning, you know, it's about keeping everybody entertained, you know, keeping the energy up. So that's just, you know, the opening act part I have to do. But as far as when I have to become a band member, it's totally different, because there's certain cues I have to bring in, certain scratches I have to do, certain songs I have to bring in with the band. So that, you know, that's very intense. Like, that's not an easy job at all, because everything has to be precise, because if not, it can throw off the singers, the background singers, it can throw off the band or Janet. So that's a very intense part of the show for me when I'm working. I love it.
That's awesome. Can you talk to us a little bit about, because I'm going to get back to the band stuff in a second, but I wanted to talk to you about the killer, you know, remixes you're playing of Janet before the show starts, because like I was having a great time listening to you spin before she actually took the stage. So did you put all those remixes together?
Yeah, I did most of the remixes. Actually, I did all the remixes. Every remix, except like some house songs that was already remixed that I played, but majority of the remixes I reproduced and remixed them. So it was fun doing this. You know, she gave me the leverage to do it. She's like, hey, take some of the new songs and mix them with some of the old records and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun.
That's awesome. How long did that take you to get that portion of the show ready, your opening? Because it's so seamless and it's amazing. And like, I hope you actually release a CD after, because it's so awesome. I wish we could all get our hands on it.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm definitely going to release a mix of it. I did some mixes with some of those remixes from the show. Not all of them, 'cause I can't give them all away. But some songs I did play on some mixes. I did like a Janet Jackson warm-up mixtape. Okay. And that's kind of, you know, some of the mixes are on there. It's on my SoundCloud.
Awesome. Now, can you
talk? But it took me, let's say, maybe like a month and a half to get those remixes, you know, together and listen and, you know, combine them.
Okay. And then when you're creating, like, do you have a time of the day that you like to work? Like, are you a super night owl, or does it matter when you're doing stuff? Because I know people have different processes. Yeah,
I like the morning time is good for me. Morning and afternoon is when I do most of my work. I don't really like to work late at night. You know, sometimes I do, but most of the time it's done in the morning. in the afternoon, I do, my best mixes.
I appreciate that you're not a night owl like that, because I also like to get my stuff done in the morning. So I understand you. It's awesome. Can you talk to us a little bit about the process of rehearsals before you actually headed out on the Unbreakable tour? Like, how early were you, brought onto the team, and what was a day in rehearsals like for you and the band? Especially because what you're doing is so different than, being the bass player, for example.
Oh, okay. Yeah, rehearsal started actually last June. So I had to be there no later than 2 p.m. Rehearsal started every day, Monday through Saturday, every day until we left out on the tour, which started August 28th. I think I'm not mistaken. It's like the 20th to 29th is when this tour started last summer. Mm-hmm. So every day before then, we had rehearsals.
How long would rehearsals go on for? Like, how many hours?
It'd probably be like 7 hours.
Okay.
Sometimes, 7 to 8 hours. Sometimes we do overtime.
And how was it like sort of incorporating, again, what you do with the band? Like, how does that even work, making your stuff work with them?
I mean, rehearsal. That's all I can say. It's a lot of rehearsal with, adding in certain scratches and adding in certain cues and bringing in certain songs with the band. It's a lot of work with the music director as well as the drummer. We got to always be in sync with each other to make it work. If we're not in sync, it can definitely get off track. But, from a lot of rehearsals, it works well.
What's it like, Aktive, when you're, like, because I know it's one thing to sort of be in step with the band, but then you guys have to take into account the fact that Janet is a dance artist and she and the dancers have to go crazy. So do you guys have to then sort of adjust a little bit too, like you said, with even like with Little John needing to hit the cymbal at a certain time if they're going to do like a jump kick or something? Is that the same
Absolutely.
sort of thing for you?
We have to definitely adjust with the dancers. The dancers play a big part, like for all the hits, bam, boom, like all that counts with the dancers. So the dancers, usually they'll come in, or the choreographer or the creative director come in and like, hey, we need these hits right here for this song. And then, they'll bring the dancers in, and then the dancers will dance to the band and, dance to the hits, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Cool. To the band hits, basically, yeah.
Okay. And, I just read an article, actually, that Jimmy Jam was quoted in just this morning. It came out and was talking about how, he loves going to see the show and how it's constantly evolving. Do you feel that? And especially, I know you guys are kind of still on hiatus right now while Janet recovers, but are you going to have to do a lot of, another, like, a smaller round of rehearsals before you head back out in March?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. We're going to have rehearsals. Once again, we're going to definitely have to do a few rehearsals before going back out. So it's probably going to take us about a few weeks to get freshened up. The dancers got to get, freshened up, and then we'll go back out. We're probably going to add some new songs, so look out for that. So it should be good.
Have you noticed a difference between the fans? Because I know, like, right now you guys have gone to Japan. You've obviously done a bunch of dates in the U.S., and of course you did a lot of Canada. Do you notice a difference in Janet's fans?
A different than Janet's fans. Her fans, they love her all over the world. It's like basically the same. They go crazy. The overseas fans, Japan fans, they love her. It's crazy.
That's awesome. What do you want Janet's fans to know about her as a person and a boss?
What do I want Janet's fans to know about her as a person, as a boss? She's very nice. She's down to earth, and she's a sweetheart. And she's the best person to work with in the world.
I actually read that you put that on your website. You had a little segment where you talked about how working with Janet has been your favorite experience. Can you tell us why working with Janet is so special as opposed... Obviously, I know you appreciate everything you've done with the other artists, but what's the difference? What's the X factor for Janet?
Hard worker. She's extremely good hard worker, man. I mean, she's nonstop, and, I appreciate that because I'm learning from her, from working with her. She's consistent. It's at every rehearsal. She doesn't miss no rehearsal, so I appreciate her, for being so consistent and working so hard. So, yes, it's a blessing to work with her because I'm learning as the journey goes along.
Now, are the band and the dancers a tight unit off stage as well as on? Because I know, like, Janet usually loves to have a really family-type environment, and I'm assuming it's the same thing for this tour right now with you and the band and the dancers.
I mean, everybody knows everybody. We all communicate. We still communicate off tour. So she wants, it's definitely a family environment, which I appreciate. Everybody's cool. Everybody's cool on the tour.
That's awesome. I have to tell you this. I saw you make the appearance on The View where you surprised Raven Symone with the Janet tickets. How much fun was that? And did Janet actually call you up directly to ask you to go do that for her?
Nah. Well, actually, it was like her team that, asked me, to do it. It was her team and my manager that did it together. But it was a blessing to do that. I mean, she put her blessings behind it. So it was great. That was a good time.
That's awesome. It looked like you had a lot of fun. And I wanted to ask you, I know, things have taken a bit of, a delay because of her needing to deal with those health issues. You guys are heading back out in March, and the tour runs for many months after that. What is up for you, sort of after the tour? Like, where are we going to be able to see you, or are you going to figure that out as things come to you?
Well, after the tour, I'm going to be what I'm working on now. I'm working on a DJ album. So hopefully you should look out for that after the tour. That's my main focus. After the Miss Janet tour.
Awesome. And is it important for you to stay, because I know when I was interviewing Little John, he lives in Atlanta, and I believe you're in Philadelphia. Is it important for you to stay sort of on the East Coast? Because I know I kept thinking everybody just moves to Los Angeles, but is it important for you to just sort of stay where you are?
No, I mean, you can still, you can stay wherever you at. I mean, as long as you still get to L.A. and New York and so forth. I actually live in Atlanta now currently. I live, the same area as John. We both in Philly, and I just moved to Atlanta last year. So I'm around the corner from him.
Oh, that's awesome. And actually, while I speak to you about Atlanta, it just seems like it's such a hot spot for musicians and DJs to head there. What's so special about Atlanta that all you guys are sort of heading there? And it's been that way, I know, for like over a decade.
Well, I mean, it's an industry here still. They have a big, broad music industry as well as for musicians, and, a lot of TV, shows are here now. So it's a good place to be in the music industry currently now. So I figure I'll move here, for networking purposes. And I just wanted to get out of Philly for a little while,
Gotcha. I understand. Well, I really appreciate your time. You've been so awesome. And we wish you obviously all the best of luck with the rest of the tour. And you're welcome back on the show anytime. And when you do that album, please come back on the show. We'd love to interview you about it.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. Much appreciated. I'm glad you had me on the show.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That is Janet Jackson's official tour DJ, DJ Aktive. Again, make sure to check out his website where you can find all of his social media handles, djaktivemusic.net. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. We've got a lot more great content coming your way, so make sure to subscribe right here and check out all that's coming up on The Kelly Alexander Show.